Hey, everybody, welcome to Reluctant Rebel, where I am joined by my two panelists here because I forgot to take them off the screen to introduce them. Alec Baldwin's finger, this
How you
man
doing?
don't miss, and everybody's favorite Korean, Yo Pops. What's up, guys?
How you guys doing?
Good.
All right, so we, as you can tell, are going to talk about one of the most hot topic issues in on the internet now, and you're like, hey, this is a political show. Why are we talking about video games? And we'll get to this later. But you know what? As Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream from culture. So it is important, and we will talk about it. But first, we are going to talk about the person who just cannot get the fucking clue. Nikki Haley loses again in Michigan. It's amazing. So I want to pull up the story here. Let's see. So
I didn't even see Michigan yet. Did she manage to pick up any county?
I don't know. It doesn't matter because Trump had 66.9%
Wow.
of the vote, and she only had 28.1. So it's just amazing. She just cannot get. She can't get a clue. I mean, seriously, how many times do you have to get your? On some level, I admire her persistence, but I think it stems from stupidity as opposed to stick-to-itiveness. I think she just doesn't know what she's doing.
I think her orders are to drain Trump of cash and to keep going.
Yeah, she's definitely getting paid by either Democrats or a certain billionaire funder of these kinds of political people, and just like Alex said, yeah, either just to drain them or take votes away from them, pretty much.
That's interesting. That's kind of a stupid play because Trump has a ton of money and he has a ton of backers. I don't know what they're planning to. Like that seems like a pretty.
I mean, so does the certain billionaire individual that I don't think we could name, but it's and that's what I think. I don't have proof or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's CIA. They got great plans. We're going to see some crazy stuff happen this year.
Hey, guess what? Like I said, he don't miss. He don't miss. But yeah, no, it's totally some deep state stuff. This is ridiculous. So I mean, it's to drain something. They're just waiting for something to crack, and I guess there was some good news for Nikki Haley. I suppose she did win the DC primary. There's a surprise.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know they had one.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, go ahead. Let her rip.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Washington D.C. is just a cesspool, so it makes sense that they would go against Trump.
Yeah, I'm with the rest of the libertarian conservative side of this discussion. Is the District of Columbia was never meant to be a state. It should not have the rights of a state.
Mm-hmm.
It was never meant to be because it was the center of all the politics in the country. So by that inference, it shouldn't even be. It shouldn't be because it's too powerful of a center for it to be used as such. Go ahead.
Technically, DC is not a state. Now, I know that they've been trying to get DC into statehood. I know they were talking about it a couple of years ago, so they could, I believe, so they could have more representation in like the House of Representatives, I think. But technically, it is not a state. It is just a district, just a portion of district. Now, there's a city of DC, but it's not a state outright.
Well,
right.
I think a scholar would tell you that it was meant to be neutral ground.
Right. So. I mean, I believe it's in the Constitution as well. It cannot become a state. Mm-hmm. It's actually, they're not allowed to even do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like it's the whole thing. One thing that's majorly lacking nowadays, especially in blue cities, but with most people, they're like, oh, why wouldn't you want DC to vote? Because everybody's there. all the politicians, when they're in session, they're there. So all the whole economy is built around when they're there. The people that want to gain favor with them are in the justice system. They are there, you know. So it's just on its face, it's stupid for it to have any voting rights or anything. It shouldn't be anything. It shouldn't be sway over anything. It's the District of Columbia, and when people get pissy about it, they either play the, well, that's not fair. These people live in the city. It's like, well, that's their choice, you know. So
I think
I mean,
sorry, I think DC wasn't even supposed to have people living there full time. I think the whole idea was that when it originally started was that the representatives and whatever politicians would go there and they would do their duties as representatives and senators, and they'd all go back home, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. Like whoever said it, the neutral center of where we go to meet and discuss things. You know, that's what it was supposed to be. It was,
maybe it's fine that it's they put points on the board as far as just, you know, the caucus goes. Maybe that's probably maybe something they intended. I'm not sure though. But not actual primary delegates, you know.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, nobody takes them seriously except for people that are full of shit. You know, it's just like, oh, well, oh, the DC, you know, I just don't understand why they're so, why people just, they look at it and they're like, yeah, they're going after it, and all the rulings that come against Trump and conservatives and things like that, and Muriel Bowser and all her stupid bullshit, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how can you, as a good person or a decent person or even a halfway non-shitty person, how do you look at that and you're like, yeah, no, that's a great place. That's a good setup. They're treating people right. You know, who in their right mind would ever want to live there if you have anywhere near middle or conservative values? I mean, you're going to be a target.
Yeah.
They're going to use you as an example, you know, just because you're like, well, those are politicians, those are people that are more famous. It's like, no, they'll come for you. They're aiming for them, but they're coming for you. So but you know, I guess I got a little sidetracked about DC. It really annoys me, their influence on the rest of the country. They should, as far as a district / city, they should have no sway over anything. They should just be what they are, which is a meeting place. But you know, to go back to the Michigan thing, because I kind of went off into the weeds there. Sorry guys, but you know, when we talk about, if you're on a political channel, DC comes up, it's okay to flame. If not, then what are we doing here? So just to bring it back up here. Yeah. So what are you, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When do you think Nikki's finally going to be like, okay, this is, even with all this money, and even though they're pushing me to do this, she's already committed political deletion in Minecraft, you know. So how far along the line does she have to go? And I'll bring up the list of debates that are coming up.
I think it will come to an end on the evening of March 5th. Super Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Is that Super Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh wow, that's coming up.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna drop, because I think the people who are backing her, I think she has to, because the money that she took, they pretty much told her. Now this is just my personal opinion, that I think that they told her that you're just going to keep running, no matter how much you drop in the polls, no matter how bad you start looking, you're going to keep on doing this, because she's going to still have votes that she's going to be able to take away from Trump. Maybe they're minuscule, but she'll still be able to do it. And then, to my understanding, a lot of the people that it seems like a lot of the people that are voting for her are like pretty much Democrats that say that they're Republican, you know?
Yeah.
But I think she's there to essentially be like a fly in the ointment, so to speak, for Trump, even though she's doing a very terrible job at it. And you know what? I don't think she's even a politician at this point. I believe she's an operative of whoever's paying her. And I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but the situation we are in now, it is not politics, it's war. All right, like our side is acting, we're playing this game as if it's politics, but then the other side, that the communists or whoever you want to call them, they're playing this as war. The people that are in charge of the government right now, those aren't officials. Those aren't they're operatives, they're agents, they're soldiers, they're foot soldiers essentially. And I think that's how bad it's gotten right now. So I mean, sorry to go off on a tangent like that, but yeah.
No, that's a good point. And here's the thing: when you're talking about sides are anybody in the middle, a moderate, and to the right, and then you have all the lefties. That's the sides. The people that are well-meaning, people that are good-natured, people that are even vote Democrat sometimes. They're not the people in the middle that have common sense. That's the side that they're going against. People need to realize that there's a lot more power, and this was the comment about the silent majority and stuff. They're getting a lot louder, but they need to get louder, because right now they're not getting loud enough, and it's better than it has been, but it needs to get louder, because it's just going to keep it. They're just going to keep coming for us, and we got to do something, because
The problem,
I ain't putting up with this anymore.
The problem is, though, is that let's say starting from the middle to the right, let's just say we are behind the curve pretty much, right? The communists, I'm just gonna call them communists. You call them Democrats or leftists, whatever. I'm calling them communists because they're essentially what they are. And these guys are pretty much ahead of the curve. And now there's obviously a lot of people on our side that seen this come from from a long time ago, and they're speaking out about it. But everyone kind of said they were crazy conspiracy theorists and all that. But now that everything started to come to light, our side is like, I want to say about 10 years behind of what the communists have been doing, because these people have had this plan. They've had this plan since the 60s, even before that. You know what I mean? You can even go back to the founding of the country, where George Washington was talking about, I think the Jacobins or whatever, and then it goes back to the Freemasons and the Illuminati and all that. But ever since this country's been founded, there's been forces behind the scenes trying to disrupt the social experiment that we were doing. And it's come to a point that everything's happening right now. But I would say, just for more contemporary times, the communists have had this plan since the 60s. And yeah, Woodrow Wilson too. Yeah, Woodrow Wilson, FDR, Lyndon Baines Johnson, all of them. Every plans that the laws and stuff they put in there it wasn't for civil rights. It wasn't for to help the poor and all that. It was to get people enslaved to the government. That's what it was, and that's just a small part of this clusterfuck that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and to bring up this, we'll get you going, Jessica. I think episode 3 is just going to be all about everybody's. We need to bring some light to what could possibly be the most, if not the worst president, the most, and I use this term in a negative way, the most influential president, and probably the one that has done the most damage to this entire country, is that man right there. I don't think people quite understand, just because we've been separated from him for so many years. There's basically, just to cover it, we're not going to go into it, but basically, was he even president towards the end? People talk about Joe Biden, Woodrow Wilson. Joe Biden ain't got nothing on Woodrow Wilson. Let's put it that way. Well, that'll be a teaser, but we'll definitely have yeah, that's right, Jessica Anakin Skywalker Lindstrom in the chat. So just to end up this segment, I wanted to highlight Mr. Kalen Wilkinson. I hope he's from everybody here on the panel. We hope that you get better soon, man. It's sorry that you're in the hospital, but none of us would be doing this right now if it wasn't for that brave young man. So I think we can all agree on that. So get better, man. But so what he wanted to ask was, who would y'all want to see as the 2028 president? And if you guys just take a minute or two, tell me what you think. I'm curious, because there's so many machinations that are going to be happening over the next 4 years. We don't even know what's happening with the election. I know what I want to happen with the election. That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen if the deep state has anything to say about it. But starting with Yo Pops, what do you think What are you thinking about 2028, and what's your feelings just right now?
You know what? Originally I was a Ron Paul guy, but obviously he's too old now. But at this point in time, Trump all the way, but with the caveat of Rand Paul as vice president. I think those two will work because we would need Trump and his fortitude, his brashness, his just hammering with the sensibility of
Right.
Ron Paul or Rand Paul.
But what about 2028? We're talking about 2028. We're talking about after.
That'd be 4 years after, huh?
I'd love to have an
that's
FDR
right.
Trump presidency. I'd love to have him in there. I want,
you know what?
God or Emperor Trump. Let's go. But
I'd probably okay. Yeah, no. For some reason, I thought 2028 was like the year after this year for some reason. So, no. Probably
It's
Rand
right.
Paul. Rand Paul. That would be like one of my first picks for sure.
Yeah, and I liked him because I think he understands that you gotta show off. Like when he got absolutely buried in the 2016 debates, when Donald Trump dunked on him so bad that he laughed. He's like, "All right, you got me." Like I was like, "All right, that was a little bit of humility." I think he knows that he got torqued on national television. But I like small L libertarians. The big L ones are just weird. But small L libertarianism, you let me do what I want to do. You do what you want to do. I don't have to agree with it because, quite frankly, that would be a boring existence if we all agreed. But to that point, Alec, I really want to hear what you have to say, and not just because you're white and not Asian like Gil Pops.
The person that I think would be most likely would be Vivek. And the reason being is that he's extremely smart, articulate, and just knows how the inner workings of our government work. And I don't know if you guys saw the Iowa caucus voting results. Even though Vivek lost, he had more first-time voters than any other candidate did.
Oh,
So
really?
I think that he's actually able to capture that younger generation, whereas all these older politicians can't. So knowing that, I think that he's probably the most likely.
Who would you want though? Like, who would you want though?
Probably Ron Paul.
Okay.
All right. I think it would probably have to be Mecha Ron Paul 2028. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll freeze his brain and put him in a robot.
Yeah.
That's
I like
right.
Rand Paul, but I think that he doesn't work on like the broader coverage that we would need, like the president would look at. Yeah, he would axe all these government agencies that he could probably, but I don't think that he would have a good like overlook of it. And it's not like you'd have a true libertarian anyways, because you still have Congress and Senate to answer to, and they can pass things behind your back. So
yeah. See, but that's the thing though, is I don't know, the president doesn't hold that much power. That's like the issue. I know everyone focuses on the president, but really it's all about senators, congressmen, and then local. I would say local is probably the most important, thing that we could focus on. But that's kind of a different.
Oh, totally.
Point now.
Yeah. Find out who your dog catcher is, as Gary said from Erotic. Like, get involved in your local government, because that's what people were looking too far off into the distance at their presidents and stuff, and all these idiots got on the school board. And when they paid attention, even in blue states, you had people that were more conservative that were conservative that were getting on these school boards because now they're paying attention. That's what they're doing. They're like saying, "Hey, look over here," while they move, they shuffle all the stuff, and that's what happens. If they have it's grassroots. It works both ways, with evil and with good. If you start grassroots, then that's how you make lasting change. My whole thing with Rand Paul is, can that man please, sir, I beg of you, if you ever see this podcast with my, here in my second episode, please get a new barber. Like, seriously, this man's hair is a problem. I know politicians have bad hair, but his is just out of control. This is one of the better pictures, honestly, but can we please, I love your talking points. I even love your down home Southern. I call it Southern because I'm from Indiana originally, but Kentucky accent. I really like him. But I mean, like him and I love Trump. I really do. But the hair, at least Trump owns it. Rand just looks like something you scrub a cast iron pan with. So,
sorry, one quick thing to add. The thing about Rand Paul is I've been told from like 10 different people in real life that have met him that he's actually a big asshole. So,
good.
Yeah.
Good. I don't care.
That's a bad thing.
So is Michael Jordan. So is Donald Trump. I don't care. That's why I like him. Be an asshole.
Actually, Donald Trump's pretty nice, apparently.
Yeah, I think he is.
Talks to people and stuff. So.
Well, I think when he gets down to the brass tacks and gets to business, I don't think he's a nice guy anymore.
That's a different story, though. Yeah.
He's an asshole if you're against him.
Okay, then I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that at all.
If being an asshole gets things done, which it usually does, folks, that's a good thing. That's okay. If you don't like that, then you need to man up. All right.
That's right.
No offense, Jessica. Sorry, but so I agree with Alec. I really like Vivek, not just because he's smart and he's incredibly his great oratory skills. When he does his hype up talk, he sounds like a WWE hype man. Like he gets into the microphone and he goes, if you want change, and he knows he's a good showman and he has an excellent sense of humor, as was shown by the whole Babylon Bee thing. He ends his interview with saying, "Thank you, come again." And I'm like, he's a good speaker.
He's a good speaker.
Oh, dude, he's great. I wish I had it queued up, but when he was talking about people, what Van Jones saying, like he was upset, he's like, when he goes, "Come the fuck on," I was like, all right. If he's faking it, which some people think he is, he's doing a commendable job. But he seems, I believe he seems very, he's a son of immigrants, legal immigrants. Which I don't have to reinstate that, because if they were illegal, they would be aliens. Kiss my ass. So, I know Alec knows I'm not really in any danger where I live, but, yeah. So I think we have some. If we can get some more people like Vivek, more young people like Vivek to come through the ranks, I think we'll do pretty good, because he's going through the populist America first kind of movement. And that's what I really like. The power belongs with the people, not with a bunch of people with awful hair and poor morals. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry,
Mr. Paul, you're a good guy, but your hair's awful. But so moving on, because that was a great question there, Kaylin. Much appreciated. So this is the part, as a parent, has me it's really interesting. And Alec had brought this to my attention, so thank you, sir. I'd heard it, but I had done a little bit of digging, and apparently Gen Z, which is your people that are graduating college at this point and a little younger, and Gen Alpha, which is more like the kids that are nowadays. Those are the two generations, which I hope Gen Alpha is Gen Alpha. That's all I'm saying. I hope they're alpha. They better be alpha. I'm trying to raise an alpha. But anyways, so this, and I was trying to find some source slides, so bear with me here. I don't like sharing things without sources, but it is true that this is the case. I didn't have enough time to find it. We'll get it. We'll get the gears greased up here in the next few episodes. But so this is a slide. This is a graph of the trending of people's ages. Like people where they're at as far as like the conservative values. And if you look after 2016, there is a massive trending in conservative, which is almost unheard of. That was something, if you would have told me like years ago, when I was growing up many years ago, as Pops like to remind me all the time.
You always remind us all the time.
I got to. I'm trying to farm some some sympathy points here. All right. If the left can do it, if left can do it with pink hair, I can do it with gray hair. So, but yeah, so you can feel it. I like my son. I'm not going to divulge how old he is, but he's in grade school in some sort, not quite this old, but you can tell there's a more conservative push with people because they're just sick and tired of all the nonsense, and that's the way it should be. Is there's always you have the pendulum, and the pendulum only swings with the opinion of the youth that are in this country, because they're the ones that are coming up that are going to change things. They're the ones that will inherit the prior generation, so so it's not a surprise. It's actually a surprise to me to see this, because not the fact that they went conservative, but they went so hard. If you look at that graph, that's one of the largest separations in the last like 40 years, 40 plus years, almost 50 years.
Well,
so
I'm not. So I am surprised, but in a way I'm not, because if you think about it, when we went to school, right? Like when adults told us, this is the way things are, this is the way you have to do it. What do? We're like, no, we don't like that. And then like things that are pushed in school and things like that, like we're like, a lot. The kids tend to rebel against authority at a certain point in their time, and when they're getting all this this transgender nonsense, this homosexual nonsense, this like leftist communist nonsense that's being spouted by people that they see as like the authority figures, like the mainstream, right? They're gonna kind of be like, well, no, they're gonna go the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember, when I was growing up, my parents were always like, oh, you have to do schoolwork, you have to do all this, you have to, study, you have to, play your piano. And what did I do? I rebelled. You know what I mean? I kind of went the opposite way, and in a way, I'm not surprised at all. Like I am, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Because like like when the mainstream popular culture kind of tells them something, there's going to be a good amount of them that are kind of go the opposite way. You've seen it in every youth generation. You know what I mean? Like the counterculture. You had the counterculture back in the 60s. You had like the punk rockers back in like the
70s
80s
and 80s,
and stuff like that. 70s, 80s, yeah. And then and you had like the grunge rockers and stuff like that, and like I think it's natural for something like that to happen.
Yeah, but are you surprised how large the separation is? Like that's my thing. I'm not. I don't disagree with what you said, but that I feel before I go to Alec, I feel like that underlines how hard they've pushed that spring down to try to get
definitely
people to get go online with their ideology. I'm just shocked by the surprise. But thing that isn't a surprise. Let's go to the girls. Let's go to the girls here.
That's the interesting part.
That one I
was going to bring that up, because that one is not a good story.
No, it's because and I apologize for all the women in the chat. Women are by and large very spoiled. They don't really have a hard go of it. They aren't expected to be tough. They aren't expected to. So with society is the way it is today, they get a really easy path. And if you don't like that, too bad. Because what I'm going to tell you is how many women garbage truck drivers do you see? How many women plumbers do you see? How many women, people that clean out the gutters, that keep your sewage systems going? If all the men died tomorrow, nothing would work. And if you don't like that, then you're not in touch with reality. But anyways, sorry, that's my little rant there. They'll probably get me in trouble, but who cares? Go ahead, Alec. Follow that one up.
It's not even that. I would say that this disparity for the girls, and now I'm a guy, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion on this. But if I did, it would be that SCOTUS took away the Roe v. Wade, right? And that made a lot of women angry at the government. And I don't know what the right answer to that is, because personally, I think that states having the right to govern abortion is a good thing. So, but
yeah, I mean, I have my opinions on that, but I totally agree.
But if you look at polls, I don't think that they do agree. So,
But that was the original intent of the 10th Amendment, right? Anything that wasn't enumerated in the Constitution was up to the states, and we've
mhm.
gone so far from that. And it wasn't even that the Supreme Court got rid of abortion, and the whole Roe v. Wade case was based on lies. It's all come out. It was all based on lies.
Yeah, even
The
the person
lady,
said it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
she came out and said it was all lies. They coached her on what to say, and I believe the whole thing wasn't even about abortion. It was about like medical privacy or something like that. Like that's where
Mm.
that's where they base it off of. So it wasn't even the case was about abortion outright. It was about I believe, now I could be wrong. Someone in the chat knows, and please put it in there. But the whole thing it was about like medical privacy and like it had to do with something like that. But um I just want to. I'm looking at this graph right now, and this graph, I am not surprised at all. Like, definitely not surprised at all that it skews like this.
Yeah, and it's yeah. I mean, it is. It's funny. The other screen was like, oh man, look how far that separation was, and I'm looking at this one, and I'm like, I'm surprised there's any conservatives that are women. So but go back to the Roe v. Wade thing. There's two things that made it stupid. The whole reason that we have a federalist society is so that you can move to a state that you share values with.
Exactly.
So that you can live in a place that you feel represented, which is why this country is amazing. You want to move to California and believe all that stuff, go ahead. If you don't, then move to a state that actually doesn't suck. So but the other thing is the whole thing with Roe v. Wade, and you'll never win this argument with any of those people because they just don't care. They just want to win, which is sad. That's not something we shoot for here. We're here for discourse and for learning. We're never here to win. That's the problem with people nowadays on both sides. Let's learn. So, but what the whole thing was it was rights for a specific group, and that's not how we play in this country. It's rights for everybody. So if there's rights for pregnant women and that's it, that's not how we play.
Yeah.
We do rights for everybody. So that's one of the reasons why I got overturned, because that was the nonsensical portion of it. And people can cope and see it all they want, but you know what? It was the right decision. And it's the whole thing is my body, my choice. I'm like, okay, let's do a DNA test on what's in your stomach. You can tell me what the DNA is. Thank you very much. So, but as far as federalism, I agree with. We'll flash this up real quick, but that's my sentiment. I'm not Catholic. I am Christian, but despite some of the spicy language you hear, I need to work on that. But it's you have to understand the fallen nature of humans. We're not perfect, and you have to work with that. That's the whole reason getting rid of guns is a stupid idea, and I'm sure Alec would definitely agree. But it's just like if you're gonna make rules based off a perfect society, you will fail. So you have to deal with the imperfections of humanity, and then that's when we start getting good rules. Much like getting all these rules sent down to the states instead of the federal government wielding their power, which is the worst thing you could possibly ever imagine. So if they had it their way, they wouldn't let us do anything. But yeah. So
just to add one final point to this, I don't think that the powers that be want us to know this information. By the way, I think that it's good that we know this, and we should take this information and try to learn from it and do better, and maybe somehow earn that trust back from that younger female vote.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Gen Alpha, baby, Gen Alpha, let's
Gen
go.
Alpha.
Bring us back to sanity, please.
Well, I want to make a point on the last graph with the 12th grade girls and the political leaning. I think maybe it's a personal opinion. I'll just say it's my personal opinion, but I think a good way that you could that you could oh God, what's the word I'm looking for here? To explain why there's such a disparity of 12th grade males going conservative and 12th grade girls going liberal is because, and this has been proven, there's been studies done on this, and I'm sure you as a marketer, having experience in marketing, things like that, women are very susceptible to like advertisements and to like a lot of propaganda. That's why a lot of propaganda that we're seeing now is geared towards women. I believe what is it, like 70 or 80% of commercials are geared towards women because they're the ones that watch the commercials and they'll buy most of the products, right? And that's why I think that this graph skews so like there's such a big spread is because these girls, I mean, you see all the TikTok influencers, you see all the celebrities coming and they're always pushing the communist propaganda, the liberal propaganda, and these girls just eat it up. You know what I mean? Because it's just and how many of these girls, they don't like care about the news and like what's going on and like politics and things. They are mainly absorbed in like entertainment, and that's where a lot of this propaganda is coming out of.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And here's the sad part, because my job is marketing and stuff like that. When women, there's a lot of women when they say they're conservative, because I know a lot of these women. They say they're conservative. They still fall for like the false visage of things like the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ACLU. They buy the cover story. And they base their decisions off that. And that's the sad part. It's not just liberals. I've seen it with my own eyes. Conservative women do this too, and it's sad. Like when they say liberal conservative, you don't know if people are just saying, well, a conservative just, because I'm from a conservative state or something like that. Not because they're afraid of reprisals, just because that's how they identify. It doesn't mean they are. I've met a lot of people, like if you press them on the issues of baby deletion in Minecraft and, like, as far as like the gender pay gap, which is bullshit, by the way, because they just take two gray lumps and compare them to each other instead of actually looking at the actual. Anyways, that'll be another stream. But they just buy the cover story based off that, and Yo Pops is right. They obviously buy the cover story and a lot of stuff because they buy a lot of the stuff that the people advertise for. So they're obviously not doing much research, and they're obviously not trying to get down to the brass tacks. I can't help but do that because that's my job. You should always question what you see. You should always say, I don't believe that. On some level in your brain should be like, I don't think so. And look into it a little bit. You'll be surprised what lurks underneath a lot of the people. And I hope there's somebody watching the stream right now that understands that that's how you have to approach life, with a marketer's eye, which is, okay, that's the Wizard of Oz I see right there. What's behind the curtain? You should always try to be looking for the person behind the curtain, because more times than not, there actually is one. So, any more you have to add to this topic, Alec? Not to drop it on you, but I know I kind of went off on a tangent there. My marketing senses started tingling. I felt like Peter Parker with a PowerPoint.
Just that I think that the media and the entertainment, like Yo Pops was saying, is working on that demographic more than the boys.
Well, Mo, have you heard of? I'm sure maybe you've heard of this guy, Edward Bernays.
I can't say I have right off the top of my head.
He's the father of modern propaganda. He was pretty much.
Well,
probably
lost him for a second.
Oh no, Yo Pops, come back. He's been intercepted, folks. He said too much.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh,
you're back.
There he is. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Sorry, I'm kind of looking up stuff on my phone right now, but no, Edward Bernays was the guy that started the smoking campaign for women back in 1929, and he would kind of pretty much wrote the book on public relations and propaganda. Look him up. People in the chat, look him up. Pretty much a lot of propaganda and PR stuff came from him, and he was able to get a whole generation of women smoking cigarettes because he told them that it's cool, it's fashionable, it's the hip thing to do, and that's kind of the same thing that these communists do now.
Yeah, and I'm going to drop that name in the chat because I thought it was spelt like the stuff you put on asparagus. It's not. It's not Bernays size. Yeah, let me drop that in the chat here. So, Edward Bernays. Yeah. There we go. for all of you to look up. I need to look that up. I love good or bad propaganda, good or bad. That's how you learn how to fight the war. It's that they're all just weapons. It's how you wield them. That's the point. You know, propaganda is propaganda, whether it's good or bad. There's good propaganda and there's bad propaganda. You know,
That's right.
good propaganda, Top Gun. Bad propaganda, everything we're seeing nowadays. You know, so all right. So speaking of bad propaganda, thank you, Yo Pops. You've allowed us to seamlessly go into the next segment. We're going to talk about everybody's favorite narrative shaping company, Sweet Baby Inc. Now, I know a lot of people here are familiar with it. Some of you may not be, but just to let you know, and you'll know right when you see this, when I pull up this webpage, what you're getting into. Sweet Baby Inc. So what they are, if you're wondering why some of your AAA games have been utter dog shit nowadays, Sweet Baby Inc., founded in 2018, is a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal. There's red flag number one.
That makes sense.
And working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone.
Dude, why the hell does it look like a fucking baby book? The website looks like a baby book, like a children's book.
Oh my god,
What the hell's up with
that's
that?
creepy. The eyes follow the cursor.
Yeah, Jesus.
Here, let's see. Hello, Alec. How are you
no,
doing?
no.
That's a nice. There's some there. It's looking at it's a diversity meter.
Oh, approved.
Approved. So yeah. So I started noticing this because I played the first Spider-Man game and I thought it was awesome. I loved it. I didn't play a lot of it, but I really enjoyed what I played. And I remember kind of seeing some of the stuff that, like, some of the way they're portraying, like, in the marketing. I'm like, well, hold on. Like, my marketing thing went up. I'm like, this isn't entirely kosher. So looking into it, it was what I thought it was. Basically, what they do is they take a good script and a good game, and these companies invite them in because they think it's a good idea, and they come in and they spew their shit all over the place, and they just, like a virus in a healthy body, it just starts destroying it. You don't notice it at first, but it gets worse and worse and worse, and that's what this is. The most despisable, most one of the creepiest ways to do propaganda is to, and it's the most effective, honestly, if we're being truthful, is to slowly insert this and kind of move people along slowly. The old walk towards the person so they take a step back. This is what this is. They're trying to insert political and ideological nonsense into video games to try to sway people's opinions ever so slowly. You don't notice it at first, but then it becomes more and more. The problem is with Sweet Baby Inc., they decided to turn up the pot of boiling frogs up, and they turned up the heat too fast, and now everybody's wise to their game. Which brings us to this, and this is top tier. I love this. They basically, not only did they get called out within the news here and there, like conservative news, they got called out on Steam, the place where everybody. This is what you're seeing here is a screen cap. Chris Kindred is the loser that is in charge of Sweet Baby Inc. So somebody basically, and this is chef's kiss. This person who's in Brazil decided to curate a list of games that were made by Sweet Baby Inc., whether they were in the past or upcoming. And I believe at this point somebody in chat's gonna have to tell me. I think Alec, you're a part of the group too, aren't you?
Yeah, I just posted the link to it if you want to share it with the group, because
I
think everybody should join it to send a message. So
good.
So
good.
Sweet Baby Inc., are they an actual like video game developing company, or are they kind of like a
okay?
So
they essentially think. Oh, go ahead, Alec. Sorry.
So I was gonna make an analogy. When you make a script for a Hollywood movie now, it goes through all these different departments to make sure that everything is safe and not offending everyone. And this is the exact same thing. They're submitting their game. They're probably play testing it and deciding, oh, maybe there's not enough of this or not enough of that. And that is like corruption of the art, you know.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. I see.
Yeah, art is meant to be offensive. You should not be restrained by anything. You let it rip, and you can sand off the sides when you're at the end. But these people are coming in and they're just ruining it from the onset. And we'll oh, this is glorious. I didn't even see the number. Earlier today it was like way less than this, but
It's
let
like
me
over
pull up the screen
100,000
there.
now.
Oh yes, it's glorious. I love the gaming community. You can't get one over on us. Don't take away our bread and circuses. Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. I love this guy. So basically, he has a list of all the games that they have done,
Okay.
collaborated with. And if you notice, like that looks like shit right off the bat. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yep. Gotham Knights.
If you're signed in, go ahead and click on one of them to see what this curator list would actually do.
So
Oh,
Yeah, click
I'm
on
curious.
any one of those games. Oh, you're not logged in. Never mind.
No. Oh, I'm on my web browser. Yeah. So
Yeah. So basically, it doesn't make it to where you can't see that game anymore. It just puts a warning up saying, "Oh, by the way, you're in this curator group, and they do not recommend it." So
yeah, but it's so going back to the other screen. This was created, and this utter spoiled brat of a woman, going back to our last graph, she's one of the people on the highest part of the graph. She decided she was going to be like, oh, so she says, anyway, report the fuck out of this group and report the creator since he loves his account so much. As somebody that is a creative, this is the most telling part of the entire thing. Obviously, we're like, okay, you're doing evil and you don't want to be caught. But all this guy did, this is all that he did. He offered an opinion, but other than that, he basically just said, here's Sweet Baby Inc.'s portfolio. Don't buy their stuff. That's all this person did. And if you're proud of the work that you do, what you do is if somebody shares your portfolio and you're like, hey, look at the work this person does, good or bad, you're like, hey, yeah, you stand behind your work. You're like, yeah, this person is so mad that they got caught that they decided they were going to they wanted to bury this, by the way, not very inclusive to go after a Brazilian Steam user. That's not cool.
right. Also, look
That's
how
not
many
cool,
games
Chris.
that user has on the bottom part. Yeah, isn't it like over 1,000 games or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and a
I think it
paltry
said how many
13
games.
years of service, not 20 like me. I
Yeah.
signed up for Steam on the weekend it came out.
But that
'Cause I'm
person
Chad
is
like that.
asking for that person to lose their account and all the games that are attached to it. So
Yeah, just because I got caught. And if you've heard this person talk, and I've had the misfortune of doing so, she is so self-centered and so upset about everything. And she, for no reason, she grew up in a charmed childhood for all I can tell from doing a little bit of research. She's just
Dude,
a
that's a
miserable
woman?
person.
Her name's Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
The
Well,
hell?
obviously, well, why? If it was Christina, then that would be like contributing to the male gaze or some stupid crap like that.
Jesus
Yeah, she's a
Christ.
complete narcissist. And I if you want to know more about her, watch the It's a Gundam video. It's so good. Pretty much everything he puts out is good, but they go over it. I don't want to suffer. I don't want other people to suffer with what I had to go through. But it's basically self-importance and identity and ideology, and it's just disgusting. And I hate it when it gets into games. And cause I'm lucky. One of the games that I love to play, which is PUBG Battlegrounds, the original creator was kind of woke, and he was like, people were asking for, please, can you turn on regions? Can you region lock this game so we don't have all these Chinese people in here cheating? And they did. And he's like, well, that's xenophobic. That's xenophobic. You know what Crafton did, the studio? They made him resign, and they told him to get lost because he was ruining the game, and they haven't returned to that at all. There's not one single scrap of wokeness, which, so I guess my question is, what are you guys' feelings on this? We see it in movies and stuff a lot, but what do you guys feel about as far as the pushback and as far as the sneaky propaganda into this? Like in movies, people kind of are like, okay, whatever. But as far as games, like, why do you think the response has been so strong and so hard against Sweet Baby Inc? Like, I mean, obviously that's from. I would like some insight into that because
Well,
it's just yeah. Go ahead.
I warned my gaming Discord group. There's like 50 people on there. We hop on. It got started because of PUBG, by the way.
Oh,
But,
really?
yeah. But
That's odd.
I remember telling them a long time ago. It was around 2018 even. I was like, dude, they're gonna start doing what they did to movies to video games, and everyone in there just berated me, said out how wrong I was that they were gonna try to put woke shit in video games. And now look where we are. They are directly trying to do that now. Now that they've come for movies, it's just like the Grim Reaper meme, you know. They've
Yeah.
taken out Hollywood. Everything sucks apart from like one or two things a year now, and that's exactly what they're trying to do to games. And that's why I've been trying to promote independent games mostly. So, but
Yes, which
I
go
wanted to
ahead.
point out that second from the bottom comment down there with the gif of it's afraid, I think
Yes.
perfectly describes that person. So
Yes,
That's great.
it's
That's
afraid.
great.
Ironically, that's what most of the people that work at Sweet Baby Inc. look like, is the mastermind bug. So,
Yep.
so it works. But yeah, so for all of you, we got a few minutes left in the show. I'm like most of your good political streamers. I'm not saying I am. I'm just enjoying this with my two friends here, Alec and Yo Pops. Which thank you again for coming on the stream. Um, it's amazing. I get to enjoy this luxury of waxing philosophical with two great gentlemen. But you don't want to black pill yourself. You don't want to get caught up in the negativity of all this stuff going on, because we will win. Make no mistake, we will win. Once you start coming after my kid, your ass is mine. All right. So I don't like black pills. Too much black pill is bad. Too much negativity is bad. Let's get some positivity. And I know a lot of you are probably know where I'm going with this.
Mo,
This is great. Go
I
ahead.
think one of the things with gamers is that gamers know quality content. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, if it's not good, they're not going to play it, right? And let's just say that they came up with a game that was actually good, but they had that woke messaging in there. It might work, but then you also have to remember a lot of gamers, they're not like that. I mean, like the people that I know that game all the time, they're not really politically correct. You know what I mean? Like, and they love that, like, that edgy edgelord humor. You know what I mean? Like, you look at, like, let's say, what's like the stereotype of, like, Call of Duty, like, chats and stuff. The words that are said between gamers when one guy's losing and things like that, right? So
Melody
it's
Mac
like,
words.
right, and then there's the other ones too. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like, how do you expect to push this message down to people that love edgy stuff, that love to, because it's not, I know it doesn't come from a place of like maliciousness. It's more of like a shock value type of humor. You know what I mean? And with those kinds of people, like, they're not gonna go for this shit.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And I have to address a comment in here from Phantom X. Sweet Baby is why the new Saints Row game was woke and dog shit bad. That's
Probably
part of the reason.
Yep.
They didn't break into the company, tie everybody up, and then write the story. These companies let them in and let them do this shit. That's the problem. But that's the other thing. This is why Sweet Baby Inc. is stupid. they're basically presenting themselves as, hey, yeah, we worked on this. This is it. And all the game companies have to do once it gets too tumultuous and stuff, they'll be like, hey, we didn't do this. We brought them in and they did this. So what they're doing is they're providing themselves a shield for the game companies for their shitty writing. Yeah, the companies are going to take a little bit on the chin, but Sweet Baby Inc. is the one that's going to absorb everything, and I think it's glorious. It's a masterclass in bad marketing, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm sure before we get to episode 10, they're going to go under, and please. But before that point, what we were talking about in the background, Alec, we basically have we have the people that are letting the wolves in the door, like unfortunately Rockstar, which I agree with Phantom X on this. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
There's no.
That's a tough one. I could go either way on that because they have a lot to lose if they do.
Oh yeah.
So,
This is true, but the woke mind virus is called a mind virus for a reason. It is not a healthy way of thinking.
The original minds behind GTA no longer work there, so that's a good case also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I had heard that Laszlo left. I don't care what some people are saying because his sister was sick, which he left because of his sister. But the fact that it didn't have him back on is just like, I don't have that much hope. But there's no Laszlo. Even if there wasn't any wokeness and there wasn't anything else going on, if Laszlo's not part of GTA, it's not GTA. It's not a 3D GTA game. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
That's a bridge too far. Laszlo and he was a great ambassador for the game. He'd be on Opie and Anthony and all these radio shows, like bringing him in and doing the preview. Like he was a master grassroots marketer. He was like literally a genius within the video game world. And the fact that he's not there, outside of politics is just like, it's really sad. And I hope his sister's okay and hope he's okay because he seems like a really stand-up guy. Regardless, whether it's woke or not, it definitely gives you pause if you see this creepy company, like just this website right here. Somebody thought this was a good idea. Like you go here and look at all the companies, look at all the games that they're actively just being like, yeah, totally, this is what I do. Look at all these companies they work with. They've worked with Valve, which it makes me sad actually because Valve makes good stuff. Yeah.
2K makes a lot of games.
Oh, this is great. Hold on. This is the name of a company. What are the people can fly? Well, they certainly can if they're in Palestine or the Middle East.
That sounds familiar. I think there was some controversy around them at some point.
They certainly can fly. So yeah, really, like the color, it's amazing. Like once you look through the things with the eye of a marketer, and everybody should.
It's very basic. It's so
all
basic and just like it looks like there's no thought put into this website at all.
Click on the approach button up there and let's see how many times they say diversity.
Oh, I like that. I wish I had a bell.
I wanted to make a point earlier of when that Chris lady was trying to get people to report on that one Brazilian guy for making that program or that app or whatever it was. I think that kind of goes to show why physical medium is like the best, because if you have everything on a cloud server or whatever, someone just reports you and then they shut your account down. You lost how many hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars worth of games? Yeah, that's right, Westward. That's right.
That's good.
What's up, Westward? What's going on, man?
It's got like GeoCities in the name.
And that's coming from a man that tattooed the 199 onto his arm. So that man is not going to be shy with his opinions or his fashion advice. But all right, I like this. Let's go through it. All right, Alec, I need you to throw up the fingers. I mean, you might need to take your shoes off here shortly, but let's see how many times they hit the language here. All right.
They might be trying to avoid it based on the first thing that they're saying there. We'll see.
Baby Inc. is an inclusion focus-based narrative and consultation. We're building a team and a process in the hopes of building a kinder, more sustainable industry at every scale. Whether you need a fresh pair of eyes or a guiding hand, we're here to work with you. We begin an all-hands review and discussion of project material. Everyone at Sweet Baby sees your... they certainly do. Everyone sees your project and shares their thoughts, feelings, and ideas. We do this because it kicks the project up with a multitude of perspectives, building a conversation that ensures the work is richer, which, by the way, that doesn't get enough attention when they say that stuff, and more resonant before it's even put to paper. That is the problem. Before it's even put to paper, there is no way in hell, if you're a creator, that you would allow anybody to come in before you even decided to write the story. That's why they're successful, and that's why this is bullshit. It shouldn't even get to that point. Yep. We then create and complete narrative deliverables by keeping the player in mind with a focus on user experience and emotional design, whatever the hell that means. We aim to consult with honesty, transparency, and a conversational approach to help find the best direction for your project. There it is. Here's how we bring in diverse voices to solve diverse problems. Provides narrative at any stage of development, boasting a team of diverse talent.
Wow.
They went all in, Alec. They decided.
Jeez, how many times was that?
They decided to put that. They decided to pour that special sauce all over the Big Mac. They just couldn't help themselves. So the rest of it is. Oh yeah, there you go.
Go back up to the writing. I think that's probably the most important part. Yeah, that one right
there.
Here
we go. From cinematics to barks and everything in between. Yikes, that's kind of creepy, actually. We tackle every type of writing for any type of game. We bring excitement, emotion, and character to the forefront, and aren't afraid of breaking something down to build it back up. That's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah. They do this part, and then it's ironic that they have a picture of a desert in there, because that's the kind of creativity they bring to the table.
Well, that reminds me of just like tearing down a male character for no reason,
Oh, here it is. Here, okay, everybody, buckle up. Here we go. Get your buckets, because we're about ready to Ralph.
Fill your shot glasses.
This is going to be the good stuff. That's right. Let's go. I got mine. Let's go. We believe that representation is key to connecting players and audiences, and we offer a few ways to help your team and project gain the perspective needed to make it happen. We're part of an inclusive and knowledgeable. I don't know about you guys. I don't think these two terms really go together that well, but I would say if you're inclusive, you're not very knowledgeable. But community of diverse consultants able to cover a wide range of cultural and sensitivity topics.
Wow, the trifecta in one sentence.
Can we get a chef's kiss? Chef's kiss. Our approach leads to the creation of joy in marginalized. I'm about ready to delete my computer right now, and I don't mean like software. I might just throw my monitor out right now just for having sullied it with this term.
It's got
it seeks to be an additive rather than strictly corrective. We do cultural consultation, sensitivity, and inclusivity. I might have to go off camera and boot and rally here so I can get through this. Risk and opportunities assessment and more.
I'm interested in more part.
No, I can't do this. Is too much. I don't do this to me, Alec. All right. So
all right, I release you.
All right, thank you. I pardon you. So just to end it up here, we need a white pill, like I was saying, because Yopop's got us on a very good point there, and I'm glad he did. But we need to bring it back around. We need to end this with a positive message, and this has been confirmed. I want to show it through the viewpoint of Steam, because Steam community is based. Whether or not the company is, Steam community is based. The internet never loses. So, this is so good. I haven't brought it up yet, and I just can't. All right. This is the best. All right. I'm so excited to share this with everybody. Okay. So this is on, you can already tell it's going to be a good post because it's gotten 59 clown ratings, and you have to pay for those people. Those ratings are not free. When you buy a game, you get points. Somebody decided to give those points up to rate this fool. So just keep that in mind. Friend got banned for asking to add one LGBTQ cape. My friend got perma-banned from the Discord without a warning when all the bro did was ask if there's any chance they would add an LGBTQ cape or background. Dude was perma-banned, and even, death threats, but show me the receipts. So I can't find it. but apparently the designer of this was with Helldivers 2 is the game that they're talking about. Helldivers, yep, Westford Smile. We got to give props where props is due. All right, Helldivers is Helldivers 2 is a fantastic game. I really want to play just because of this. So
It's very
apparently the
fun.
creator, it's a double A game is what they refer to it, right? I never know what the sub things are, but it's like a double. It's good. It's got some production behind it, but it's not like a major studio.
Right, but
So
it's
I've heard,
priced accordingly too, though.
yeah,
It's
it's
only
40
like
bucks,
40
right?
bucks. Yeah.
$40. We only go by American dollars here, people. If you want to do something else, you can put it in one of those leftist translators. So what happened is the creator, that guy went in the Discord, asked the creator to do that, yeeted the guy, and then told everybody, yeah, I am not putting anything political in my game. So if you have the means, if you have the money, and you should buy it anyways because it looks fun. I love watching it on streams, but buy this game because that person that's the developer we need more of. Focus more on a fun game and people putting their own life experiences on top of the game, of the framework of the game, to make it mean whatever they want to. And that's the problem with all this stuff. That's the problem with all this propaganda. They want to tell you how to think. They don't want to give you like vagaries in a story, which is the best. When you can say, okay, I can relate with this. I can say, okay, this is what this part of the story means to me. This is something I relate with, whether I'm whatever walk of life I come from. That's what makes games great, is because they're approachable. They're inclusive. When you start shutting off the stories, they become exclusive. And let's be serious. Diversity, equity, inclusion, all it means is anti-conservative, anti-white. You know, if you're white, they didn't even want you to be born. If you're a conservative, like Yo Pops and stuff like that, they're like, oh, well, he's just white adjacent. If you are anybody that shares an opinion, that they don't care about your color when it comes right into it. They care about your opinion. All right. And that's why this stuff is so insidious and so evil. And I'm so glad that we are getting to the point where it's starting to push back. We're not there yet, but I'm feeling it. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
The pendulum is starting to swing.
I
So,
was just going to say the pendulum is definitely swinging.
So to all you guys out there, the pendulum will swing, but not without your help. So this is why I started this channel. I did not want to be a rebel. I was very happy until I saw The Last Jedi. Maybe not happy. And then I saw everything else that was going on. So if you're reluctant to get out there, get off your ass and do something. Just like me, just like these two men and myself. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this episode, and we look forward to seeing you in episode 3, where we'll hopefully be talking about Woodrow Wilson. That'll be a fun one. So study up, guys. We'll be speaking soon, and as always, God bless America.